I have no code experience. So I rolled out like a job post, but that candidate backed out at the last stage. When my product was ready, I was already in the first page on the search results for the target queries. When I wasn't able to find proper development help, I was sad. During early days, launching a product is just the one step. What happened is basically one of our like a main competitor. They actually kind of copied the marketing that I was doing for GA4 notes. So that was also disheartening. They just use it word by word exactly same on their site, which is like really cheap way of doing marketing, I guess. I already invested around $1,000 USD on the development. So I decided and I sold it.
Welcome everyone. Today we have someone who has been shaking things up at companies like Keyhole and AdSearch. He is the passionate founder behind GA4 Notes, the game-changing extension that makes annotations possible in GA4. He is here to share his incredible story of building this tool, starting from the spark of an idea to the challenges he faced in building the Micro-SaaS as a non-tech founder and how he was finally able to sell. But here's the twist. Another big enterprise tried to copy his brilliant idea. We'll dive into how he handled that and came out even stronger. But that's not all. Stay tuned as he also spills the bean on his next week adventure, which will assist businesses struggling with SEO ready content on their website. Join us in welcoming the fabulous Rohit Chavane. How are you doing, Rohit?
Hi Anuj, I'm doing good. Thanks for inviting me on this podcast. Really excited to discuss about my journey.
All right. So, Rohit, can you tell us about what is GA4 Notes exactly?
Yeah, sure. So, GA4 Notes is basically a simple Chrome extension which I built end of the last year. And what it does is basically it adds annotations on top of Google Analytics 4. And the name came like naturally when like we call Google Analytics a GA, and the latest version of Google Analytics is GA4. And when I realized that GA4 doesn't have annotations as a native functionality, that was like our own problem being marketer. So that's the reason like I came up with the name GA4 Notes, and notes meaning that I can add notes to your Google Analytics charts and reports. Yeah.
How did you come up with the idea of building GA4 Notes?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, just to like give background and context, I am a marketer, so I have like more than 7 years of experience in B2B SaaS marketing, and it's my day-to-day job. Or on a weekly basis, I tend to like go to Google Analytics and do the reporting, like download the data and do analysis. Whenever we do, make some new changes on the website or run any A/B test, it's like naturally I used to like add annotations on the date when we do the experiments or when we change anything, something on the website. And when we, like everyone, become a part of Google Analytics latest version GA4, I personally realized that it's basically the annotations functionality which we used to rely heavily on is missing in GA4. So what I started is adding those annotations in a spreadsheet with first column as the date and second column as the changes or annotations. And that is something triggered, to be honest. And when I realized this can be solved using some Chrome extension or some small tool. Then I started, checking out on social, specifically on Twitter and Reddit, to see like what other marketers like me, even from the agencies or in-house marketers, are solving this problem, because annotations is a really cool and useful feature in Google Analytics. And suddenly it stopped, it didn't come over in the latest version of GA4. So I was just curious to know like how others are doing, and I realized that everyone is like most of the marketers rely on the spreadsheets. They started jotting down in their notes or annotations in a shared Google spreadsheet, and some of them actually integrated that spreadsheet with the Google Data Studio. So the idea came to my mind when I think of MVP. Is basically I don't have to rely or build a like a proper SaaS with a proper backend. Like what I can do is use the spreadsheet that users are already using as their backend for annotation storing, and show those annotations by fetching those from Google spreadsheet into their Google Analytics charts in the real time. So that was the basic idea for MVP that came to me, and then I started building on that.
That sounds really cool. How was the journey to build the product?
Journey was quite, I mean, interesting, and reason is because I am a non-tech person. So I don't know how to code or how to get approved on the Chrome developer platform or anything like that. But I had idea, and which was like very validated idea. I mean, that was my own problem as well, which I wanted to try and solve. The journey I would say is couple of pointers that really struck when I wanted to build something. Because I wasn't like a developer, I had to find out a good developer who can help me build the first version of GA4 nodes. And then later on, even when we had like multiple iterations in the designs, in the product mockups, and then started reaching out to the marketers or Google Analytics users who can use this tool as like a beta testers and then give me a feedback. So that journey was quite interesting. Mostly I was involved into like starting from website to product designs to mockups and everything. But eventually I found one like a good junior developer who is from Surat, India itself, and then we started collaborating on Slack and on Zoom calls, like how to like build one step at a time and then iterate the product. Even when we get like a feedback from the customers or the beta users, we were like, can we build this right now, or can we add it in the product roadmap? So it wasn't something like one like everything at one time, but eventually, as and when we get feedback or new insights from the beta users, that journey was quite interesting for. So that was like quite a good experience for me.
All right. So you also said you had a full-time job while you were building this. So how did you manage the full-time job
Yeah.
responsibilities and also building a completely new tool?
Yeah, so I mean, yes, I do have like a full-time job. Currently, I'm working with AdSearch. When I was working on Google Analytics, the annotations tool, I was working with Keyhole, which was also a Toronto-based company, and both my job, the current one and the previous one as well, remote jobs. So they have the flexibility and they actually support their employees. They really support me when I say that hey, I'm building on this or I'm working on this on the side. And being working from home is the good advantage that I have is I can dedicate 1 hour per day on the weekdays and then couple of more on weekends. So that helped me just set up my timings for full-time job as well as on my side project.
It is really important for the employer or for a company to give that level of flexibility. And it is really cool you are able to devote time, of course, to your current obligations with the company while also being able to retain some mental
Yeah.
competence to build your own tool. You also touched upon you are a non-tech person. Being a non-tech person, you did not know how to code, but still you managed to build an MVP for the tech product. How was that journey?
So just to give a little bit context of the background I come from, I even though like I say I'm a marketer by profession, I have no code experience. I can use no code tools like Card or Webflow and build a good website. I have experience on booking a domain name and then connecting with the website CMSs and etc. So that knowledge I already had in my past. So what I did is basically I bought like ga4notes.com. It was the .com domain was luckily available, and then I integrated or connected that domain directly with the Card website builder. And I had a good experience using Card. My personal website also built on top of Card website builder. So I just created a dummy template, added some kind of mockups of the product images, logo, and everything. And the website was ready within a couple of days only. The major challenge came to me when I wanted to focus more on how the actual product looks like and it works like. So my wife is UI UX designer, so she helped me in the initial product mockups of the Chrome extension and the user flow, like how the flow looks like, or when new user comes in, the sign up, like how the sign up screen should look like, or when they create a new account, what is the first screen that we should showcase them, and how many properties we are going to show in the Chrome extension. So that journey, I kind of like did the brainstorming with my wife, and she helped me really good in the sense of user mockups and all the design mockups. And the third thing is when we have designs or the mockups ready, at the same time, I was actually struggling to find a good developer who knows what I want to build and why I want to build it. I initially had a thought of hiring an intern. So I, rolled out like a job post, like, posted on a LinkedIn and social media. So for the internship role, I actually shortlisted few. even wrote out offer for one intern, but that candidate backed out at the last stage. And then I decided, like, I mean, the internship or the interns, that's not going to work because I have some idea and that requires someone who is really dedicated and strong in what they do. So luckily, I found one guy on LinkedIn itself. So I did like a manual reach out to him, and his name is Harshit. He's like a full stack developer, and he also has good experience or working knowledge of front end and design things. So he knows how to use the libraries, design libraries, and use those in the projects. So I, started collaborating with him, and he got like a good understanding of what I want to build, why I am investing my time and money into building something like this. So we were on, on the same page. I would say we like match the frequency and we know like what we are doing. And he was really collaborative in a sense that even when I say as a non-tech founder that hey, can we do this or is it possible? And being that tech guy, sometimes it gets really difficult to match that frequency of non-tech to tech person. But he was really helpful and collaborative in the sense that he was really acceptable of my insights and feedback. And when I say like you have to come on a call with a beta user, he was ready to do that because he also at the same level he was interested in doing the conversations with beta users and understand what they actually require. So that really helped me, understanding or building the MVP from idea to designing and then actually having something which is live on the Chrome store.
It's really not easy to find the right people who, of course, you pay them, but the person who you work with has to believe in your vision, has to understand what you want
Yeah.
because you're not just building another app, you're building something which has not yet been done. You met Harshit, you said via LinkedIn, you reached out to him manually. What did you look in him, or how did you know that, okay, Harshit is going to help me build TF4 Node?
Yeah, because as a non-tech person, I wasn't aware of all the technical stack or technologies that are required to build the Chrome extension. So what I looked for in Harshit is basically if he had any experience building a Chrome extension, if he built something which is live on the Chrome store, and whether that is easy to analyze or review from the non-tech person. So he had something built which was very like a small tool. It doesn't require a backend or server hosting, but yet the tool was live on the Chrome store, and the tool, I think it was something about the designers tool or designers Chrome extension that designers can pick the font family or the colors of the website and things like that. So he built that and he had experience on how to push things like on github or how to push things on the Chrome store. If there is any feedback or questions coming from developer platform side, then what are the answers required to nullify those questions and then again put it for review for them. So he had that particular experience and he was into like he is also like a full-time employee with one of the companies in Gujarat, and he also wanted to like just work on the side and have some extra income. So that was his background. And plus when I asked like what are the things that require, because I am completely a non-tech person, I don't know if it requires like a React or JavaScript or anything other technical knowledge. So he was like there were a couple of React things and then the CSS libraries or design libraries that he can rely on, plus some open source code that he can use and then modify according to our requirement. So those were the things that I really got into when he said that hey, I can build you, you just have to like give me some time and we can like work on it collaboratively, because he doesn't have experience on how users see this tool or how they can use it on a daily basis. What he is good at is basically he knows how to build things, and where my skills or knowledge comes in, like I know like what are the requirements and what are the things that are required in order to make it useful for the end users. We were able to match it really well, and the end product was in front of us.
You built the MVP, you hired the person, you had the MVP with you. What was your first step with the MVP? Like, how did you reach out to people, or how did you market it?
Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. What I have like done is basically most of my marketing is one-on-one during my early days. DM'd 100 plus folks on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I even joined Google Analytics related groups on Facebook. There was few groups on LinkedIn as well. and started putting like word about GA4 notes and hey, this is a free extension. I mean, it wasn't like a actually free extension, so we had some, it was like a freemium, I would say. Some part of extension was like free, and then to add more than 10 or 15 annotations to your Google Analytics, you have to like pay $39 as a one-time charge. So the starting point, the entry point was very frictionless. You don't have to give the credit card, you don't have to like sign up or anything. So the entry point wasn't an issue for users. There were groups for the marketers and marketing agencies. So I started putting word about GA4 notes on these groups. From my side, I started putting efforts, and it wasn't like a pull effort, it was the push effort in terms of marketing. But I think that's required when you have to get attention for your new product, I would say. So those were the steps I think I did in terms of getting GA4 notes in front of people. Other thing which which I did very cleverly or smart way is basically optimizing the Chrome extension page for search engine or the Google basically. So earlier, the title of Chrome extension was GA4 Notes only, the name that comes on the page, the Chrome page. Later on, I encountered that mostly people won't be able to search GA4 Notes directly. So what I have done basically is I changed the title tag, or the heading of Chrome title. The extension title is to Google Analytics for annotations and then GA4 Notes. That covered the main target keyword from the SEO perspective, as well as it started showing the actual extension page started showing when someone searching for GA4 notes or GA4 annotations, Google Analytics annotations. So it kind of covered that part as well. After that, users started coming naturally or organically to the extension page, and then started installing it. But the first efforts are basically like reaching out to my own network on LinkedIn and on Twitter, and just putting word about GA4 notes on the Facebook or LinkedIn groups.
So, I think people really underwhelm the value of marketing a product. Most people think
Yeah,
that's the end. Okay, I build a good product. People are supposed to come
yeah,
and buy it from me, right? Marketing is the main game. The packaging or the way that you're selling needs to be there. The marketing needs to be there, and uh,
yes.
I mean, you're you're a true example of how marketing can really change the course of how you sell the product. How much time did it take you, like from the ideation phase to the first MVP?
The When I had this idea initially, I didn't work on it because I was thinking maybe I will partner with someone or I will just hire an intern. So that thinking took a lot of time from me. But one thing I did really immediately when I had this idea is I booked a domain because ga4notes.com was available, and I was like, this is once in a lifetime opportunity that the exact match domain name with a .com is available. So I booked it, I think in June or July last year itself. And at the same time, I created a landing page on card. The page was there, and that helped me get it indexed as early as possible, even before the product was ready. So when my product was ready, I was already in the first page on the search results for the target queries. So I didn't think of I'll build product first and then work on the marketing. Well, because I know it takes time for Google as well to crawl and index and rank those pages. I was like I will go first this way, and then parallelly start looking for developers or other options to build the product. And then it around I think in August or September last year, I actually started putting efforts into getting someone from the dev side. The first version of extension was live in December 2023. I would say like around 4 to 5 months is what I really focused on building the thing. And it wasn't like very dedicated hours. It was just sometimes I, sit on like a Sunday afternoon and then do some page changes or talk with like the developer. So on a weekdays, it was less than 1 hour per day from my side because I wasn't very involved into like building the things, but mostly involved into like how it looks like.
So I think one thing that you mentioned that earlier when you started building the tool, you were looking for a co-founder, but after a while you realize that there's no right person, and if I have to do this, I have to do it myself. So anyone who might be watching this, there's no magical person who's sitting there who's gonna help you build the product, who's gonna do the
Yeah.
marketing for you, and just give you the money. So I think those people don't exist. All right. So I would like to ask you, like, during the time you were building this tool, there must have been times where you were disappointed or disheartened by it was not going the way that you had imagined. How was the experience?
Yeah, like lot of times I feel that, and when I wasn't able to find like a proper development help, I was sad. But again, we have that hint somewhere in the background. This is something that needs to be done, and I wasn't able to find a developer that time. I was like, okay, can I stop working on this? Even when I found a developer guy, and then we actually started rolling out, the first version of MVP of GA4 Notes. I wasn't able to get like a good beta users who were actively using and giving feedback, because during early days, launching a product is just a one step, but you have to get as much feedback as possible from your beta users, and see what are the improvements or implementation changes that we can do for them in order to make them stick to your product. So getting them to your product is just one thing, but making them use it frequently more and more, or have them activated on your product, it's something that was the struggle for me. And I don't have even the product background, because like how the product adoption or activation works. So I was reading through online, like Google and other channels, but I didn't have that like a hands-on experience on the product adaptation or activation. So I started reaching out to the beta users who were actively using GA4 Notes. So I started emailing them because I had their email addresses when they signed up with Google. And for some, I even connected with them on LinkedIn, and I started asking them questions like, hey, how do you like the product? Do you need any additional features? From their side, there were like quite a few, eye-opening insights that, hey, can I add annotations for this particular property? Or can, these annotations be shared using your own tool without sharing the spreadsheet, and the next person can see those annotations in their Google Analytics. So the sharing and admin level work. So that those were like quite good insights that even I thought of, like this needs to be added in the product roadmap. So that is something that I struggle a lot during my early time, like how to make sure, like talk to beta users or beta testers, and then get feedback, and then use those feedback points in actual the product roadmap. And the third thing is I really struggled is basically when I had like a 60, 70 beta users in this year, but only two paid customers. Like only I was able to convert only two of them into paid customers. So I was like, why they are not converting into paid, or am I doing something wrong, or I'm just giving too much for free to start with. At the same time, what happened is basically one of our like a main competitor, they actually kind of copied the marketing that I was doing for GA4 Notes. So that was also disheartening that even as a small, like a side project thing, the competitor is actually copying line by line things from my own website, and then like sending users, or just competing for Google SEO. They were just doing those shady things for me, yeah, against me. So that time also I was like a little sad and nervous.
Okay. I mean, that's really not ethical. And so, can you talk about who was your competition, who did this, and what exactly were they doing?
Yeah, so what happened is I was just checking like Google ga4notes.com in the search result on Google, and I came across a domain, very same domain, ga4note.com, without yes in the domain. A pretty similar thing. And as a marketer, I like having the same domain competing against each other. But when I actually looked into their website, I got really shocked, because what I see there is line by line and word by word copy that I used on my ga4notes.com. They just copy pasted it and used it on their own website, ga4note.com. They had the same copy which I used on ga4notes.com. And I was like curious to know like why they are doing it, and who is the actual owner of that particular site. But when I see the call to action button on GA4 Note, the website, it was going to the Crystal Ball, who is a really big player in the GA4 annotations. Crystal Ball Pro is the website name, or the main competitor that they actually kind of built that GA4 Note as a dummy site or a duplicate site of GA4 Notes, and then started sending that the traffic from GA4 Note to the Crystal Ball main website. And it is, as you said, it's not ethical as well to do that particular thing without giving credit. They just use it word by word exactly same on their site, which is like really cheap way of doing marketing.
So if I understand this correctly, if they're using the exact same domain, exact same landing page, so the organic users who search for GA4 nodes and who were supposed to come to your website, instead they went to
Yes.
their website.
Some
Okay,
of them might have. I mean, I don't have understanding or clarity on like how many went to their
right.
website, but what I see is whenever someone search for ga4notes.com, my site is ranking number one in search results. Currently, it's also ranking, but immediately after ga4notes.com, which is my site, their site is also started popping up as a rank two in the search results. Mostly they come to me, but some actually might have gone there and see what is it and then gone through the cluster of
This must have been really disheartening, Rohit. How did you deal with it?
yeah. So I didn't do anything. I just focused on what I am doing because it was my main idea. So I was like, okay, let them do their thing. I'll do, focus on my thing, and then just went ahead and just ignored them. This can also happen to anyone who is just starting out.
And this is something you would not think about. Like, if a very big company, they might have more subscribers, they might have uh, so much money to market, they can easily run paid campaigns.
Yeah,
But instead of doing that, they
yeah,
are copying someone who is building on an original idea, just blindly copying what
yeah.
he has done. So that is really not something which should be rewarded at any stage. So, what was the turning point for you in the journey of building the tool?
See, the turning point I would say is there were few things. I mean, during my journey when I started investing my own money, I already invested around $1,000 USD on the development and few tools like platforms of hosting. I wasn't able to get like a good beta users, and whoever I got, even I was able to convert only two or three of them into paid customers. There was a cost invested whenever I have to, get something new built. I have to reach out to the developer and say, hey, can we build this? And he charges really high because he was good at what he is doing. So that triggered me whether I have to keep investing in this product or whether I look for other options or I can tie up or partner up or have a co-founder who is not taking salary till we are profitable, but who is ready to do the revenue share. So I looked for few guys, but I didn't find that charm or the frequency match, unfortunately. And then I thought of maybe just sell it off the tool. Suddenly, I started getting acquisition offers. If I am ready to sell, I mean, there were quite two or three offers I got. Two of them were actually from the beta users of GA4 nodes that they actually started using the tool. One of the guy who was from the USA, he was from the analytics company background. He was like kind of business analyst and he dealt with all the analytics tools and platforms. So he showed interest and he was like, hey, this is something I would like to pursue and if I'm open to sell the product. The another guy, he was from the Kazakhstan. He was from the agency background with little bit of target audience overlap because the agency also used to work with the Google Analytics tools and consultants. So there was like a quite good target audience overlap. So we started chatting, but still at that point I wasn't sure the way I have to go in that way and sell it off at just very early stage because I invested only $1,000. I can put it and see if I'm able to convert those users into paid customers. I didn't run any email campaigns or anything other than just one-on-one reach out. So I know that there is, even from the SEO point, I haven't done anything else other than one landing page and one Chrome extension page. So I knew that even if I put like some effort in marketing, maybe content creation or tie up with YouTubers or influencers or maybe just do the email campaigns to the beta users, I was sure that I will be able to at least convert some of them into paid customers. But at the same time, what I decided is basically I did some research, basically competitor research, and there were two of the same Chrome extensions in the market back that time. And what I did is I reached out to their founders saying, "Hey, I'm building this J4 node, which is similar to what you have built. How are things going at your end?" It was very open-ended question just to understand if they're actively working on things or if they stopped working on their own tool. What was like things that they are doing for their product and I was surprised when they say that this is something that they built as their side projects as well. One of the tools stopped working when they started rolling out for the GA4. it was working really well for the universal analytics annotations. But when user moved to the GA4, the tools, the extensions, one of the competitors' extensions stopped working for GA4 nodes. Another one, they were actually supporting not just Google Analytics, but Google Search Console as well as Google Ads. So you can show those annotations on multiple platforms and not just analytics. And he had a proper backend built for saving annotations. For my tool, for my MVP, I was just using users' spreadsheets as their backend and fetch notes or the annotations from their own spreadsheet and show it in a real time on the analytics charts. So what he said is even the market is really fluctuating. There were like quite few users who are paying for his tool, but mostly rely on the spreadsheet and they are not ready to pay for such tool. And that's the reason that I decided that I will just put it as a $39 per like use like pay once and use it forever kind of thing. So that is from the pricing perspective. So these founders they give me insights like you can still build on it, but it is not very monetizable thing. So you can put your efforts in something else, or maybe focus on something else and keep this on the side running on its own. But again, if there are additional requirements, they had the capability and they were actually from the development background that they kind of do or add those features by themselves. But the things were different for me. I was from the non-tech person and I had to rely on someone else who is charging a lot of money to build those things. So that kind of situation led me to decide that let it sell. I mean, sell the product for good amount and get a good return on investment that I have done. So I decided to go with the Kazakhstan guy who was actually quite interested and he had those like a kind of users or audience already with him. So I decided and I sold it for $5,000 to him.
How did it feel to sell at 500% ROI?
Yeah, it was a bittersweet experience. I mean, to be honest, I didn't want to sell GA4 nodes because that's some first baby product that I decided with my own problem to build, and I built it from scratch without having like a technical experience. So the experience was really good in terms of having that idea and then building it, and then having actually live on Chrome store where people are actually installing it and using it for their own purpose. Even if you go to J4 Notes Chrome page, I think the number of installs it's showing is 150 plus. So it's a quite good interest that they are showing for this very small tool. As a non-tech person, you can also like build something on your own, get some help from people, and then sell it off or maybe grow it or get some investment and then grow it. So there are multiple options that people can explore even though they don't have like a proper technical skills. So I say like the $5,000 is just like the amount that I received, but the experience I received, it was like a high amount more than $5,000 because that is something that I can use for my next product and next product.
So you rightly said that, Rohit, more than the money, it's the experience or it's the happiness that we solved a challenge that people around the world
Yeah.
were facing. That happiness is something that money can't compare with. So the people who are listening to this podcast, if they have any ideas, how do they go about building on it?
I mean, you can follow the way I followed is basically stick to your core skills. If you are like a tech person, uh, focus on your main things or your main core skills are like building using technology that you are good at, and let others help you in the process of scaling, selling, or acquiring users. So even if you are a non-tech, you can do the same. Either you can partner up or get a technical co-founder and do the revenue share, or you can hire someone who is a developer and keep 100% revenue to yourself but pay the salary to the developer. There are multiple options you can do, but the idea is basically sticking to your own skills like a core skills and outsource or get help for other things which are not really your core things. If you have a good idea, I mean, there is a lot to talk about how to get that idea or how to explore that idea. But the best way is either that should be your own idea or the own problem which you're trying to solve or which you want to be solved. Or if you have like a good social listening skills or you see what people are talking about on social, maybe on Reddit and Twitter, and if you see a same common pattern throughout the channels around that particular idea or the problems that they are talking on their social media platforms. That is a good signal, I say, when you think of validating that particular idea, and then don't think too much on how do I do it. Keep it very scrappy, but let the first version come out as early as possible, and then start reaching out to users or folks, the prospects or the potential customers, and ask them for feedback. Don't focus more on the monetization during early stage. You can have some amount assigned to the product, like as an entry point, that this is a free tool, but to use premium features you have to upgrade or maybe do the lifetime deal. But other than that, don't focus too much on yearly pricing, or I can increase the price, doing the competitor research and everything. That can be done in the during like the later phase. But at the starting, I think it should be your main idea. One thing I would also like to highlight is it's okay if the idea that you think of is already built with by someone else. The reason is because nothing is original, to be honest. When I thought of annotations on Google Analytics, I had my own problem that I was, adding annotations on spreadsheets. When I looked for competitors, the competitor was there. Crystal Ball was already there in the market, but they were not solving the actual problem that I had. My problem was I'm already having, hundreds of annotations on spreadsheet. How I can show them on the analytics. Crystal Ball had that particular solution that you can import the CSV and import the annotations from your CSV Excel file and showcase there. But the pricing were like $29 per month, so they were charging really high, and they had good integrations as well. So I was like, okay, it's okay if they have a problem. They already have a product in market, but I can still have something which is relevant to my problem statement and which is relevant to marketers or others who are using the spreadsheet as their backend and solve on top of that. So it's okay to don't not having the original idea, but just think of how you can leverage their market share, your competitors' market share, or how you can get early users and migrate users from your competitors to your product. So there are other things you can think of during the early stage, but later on you can focus on how to scale, sell, or focus more on the building new features and product roadmap.
All right. And just to add to what you have said, I think believing in your idea is the very first stage. So a little bit
Yeah.
of marketing research, doing the same thing day in, day out, facing the issues, talking to people who are also facing that issue is a integral part to understanding, do I really need that? Do people really need
Yes.
that? And like once you are convinced that this is something which is really needed, I think it takes time, it takes investment, it takes money, it takes a lot of pressure to build a tool. So I think a high conviction is absolutely required when you are taking up something like this. But I think the satisfaction which you get after it is successfully done is something that
Yeah.
mitigates that pressure or that initial hustle that you did.
And other thing is you don't have to resign from your full-time job to focus on something on your own. So that requires a lot of money, investment, time, and efforts as well. You can take step-by-step approach to that. There are, I mean, luckily there are good employers that really support what I'm doing. So that's something is plus point when you actually work with the remote companies.
So Rohit, how difficult do you think it is to scale a side hustle while working with a full-time job? Of course, the employer is nice; they let you do flexible hours, but you still have to put in the 8 hours of work for your company.
Yeah. Yeah, so I see there is a difference between actually building an MVP and making it live versus scaling it to some certain level. The reason is, I mean, I have a good experience now with GA4 nodes in building and making it live, that for that phase. But you can do that very easily without, putting a lot of money to that. Especially if you're a technical person, you can build it on your own and make it live, and then think of how you can start getting users. But if you're a non-tech, then there are some challenges which we already talked. So I guess building is a different part, but when it comes to scaling, I personally see, and that is like my personal opinion, but that is not like a one-person job to scale a certain product from one level to certain level. it requires subject matter expertise. It requires a lot of things that, even from customer feedback, if they are requiring a specific feature, or they are asking some things to build and then they are ready to pay. So that's not like a one person job. So as a scaling perspective, I think you have to get help whenever required, be it a technical help, be it security help or legal help or finance level help, or even from the marketing and sales related things. You have to reach out to relevant folks and ask them if they are ready to help. Obviously, you have to invest your time, money, and pay for them as well. But scaling is, something different, which is than different than building. And scaling requires more than one person who is really good at what they do, and then they can help you, take your product from one level to another level, and then you can see the actual revenue flowing when you start scaling.
All right. So now that GA4 Notes is behind you, Rohit, what's next?
Good one. So, I mean, I recently joined AdSearch as their growth marketing manager. Last month only I joined there. Other than that, I also partner up with Advait Vaidya. He's founder of Go Publish, and I decided to join him as a co-founder of Go Publish, where I will take care of all the marketing and growth related things for Go Publish. And just to give like a little hint of what Go Publish is, it's basically a Google add-on, Google Sheets and Google Docs add-on that helps marketers, agencies, and content teams to publish SEO-ready content from Google Docs to WordPress in a few clicks. So you don't have to copy paste content from your Google Docs to WordPress. You don't have to deal with the formatting issues of copy, heading tags or ULNI tags or images. All you have to do is basically have your content draft ready in Google Docs, set up the publishing check boxes and URL, title tag, description, SEO level data, and then hit publish, and it will automatically get published to your WordPress blog. You don't even have to log into your WordPress to approve that particular post in WordPress. You can publish this right away, or you can schedule it for some future days, and that will get automatically published with proper SEO taken care of. Currently, we are supporting WordPress as a CMS, but in future we have plans to support other features, other CMSs like Webflow, Framer, Shopify, and right now I am doing that again on the side.
So I guess something big
Yeah,
is about to come, and this I
let's
am very
see.
sure that this is going to be bigger than what you had with GA4 Notes.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I hope so. Because now there is, I mean, plus thing is Advait, who is really product guy. He's into like development and technical things, so he is taking care of that thing. Whereas I come from marketing background, so I know like what's required to get in front of people and how to actually convert free users into paid. So I'm mostly focusing on that. So like I said earlier, we are sticking to our core skills with GoPublish.
Awesome. I think we need a separate session with you, Rohit, just to understand how do you manage to find such employers who are this flexible, this good, and who even let you work on your side hustle. I think a separate session is required for it.
Sure, yeah, we can do that.
All right, Rohit. Thank you so much for being with us and talking about the awesome experience that you had. And hopefully, a lot of people are going to benefit from it. So, thank you once again. All right.
Thank you so much.